we get a fraction, so we have to make the f prime of x equals 0 or f prime of x undefined. So one more time, if you have a fraction, you always have to think about this part. So let's take a look at this part first, because sometimes it's much easier to do. So now we got 2x squared equals 0, and then you divide by 2, and then you get x equals 0. We'll make f prime of x undefined. But our domain is x greater than 0, so therefore we reject. Now we're going to make f prime of x equal to 0. We only have to make the numerator equal to 0. Because you think about it, if you have 0 over 5 equals 0, 0 over 10 equals 0, only the numerator had to be 0. So we made the 1 minus ln x equals 0. And then you plus ln x both sides, you get 1 equal to ln x. If you already know the answer, you can write down the value. If you want to, you can show some work. You're going to do e to this both sides. The e and the ln cancel, so you get x equal to e. So we found the critical point of critical value. Okay, so now, so this is just refreshing our memory. So let's go to the side chart. We have x greater than 0. So x equals 0, and put e in the middle. So we have f prime of x equal to 1 minus ln x over 2x squared. So now you can pick any number between 0 and e. You can pick 1. You can pick any number you want. Okay. So I am going to pick a number that me or me not think of. So I'm going to pick 1 over e. Definitely smaller than e. 1 over e is e to the negative 1. And then, how come I do e to the negative 1? Because it's ln over here. And here I'm going to use e squared, or e to the third power. So let's say I'm going to use e to the fourth power. Now I'm going to check the sign. So I'm going to substitute it into the f prime of x. 1 minus ln e to the negative 1 over 2x squared. 2 is positive, x squared is positive, so it is positive. We only care about the sign. Okay, so now this cancel out. So you're going to get 1 minus negative 1 over positive. So 1 minus negative 1 will be positive. Okay, so therefore you get positive. Now on this one, you're going to do 1 minus ln e to the 4th power over positive, because 2 is positive, x squared is positive. And then you're going to cancel the ln and e, so it becomes 1 minus 4 over positive. So you're going to get 1 minus 4 is negative, so negative over positive, you get negative. So now, that means you're going to get a Lagrange max. So conclusion. So f of x has a Lagrange max at x equal to e, because f prime of x change from positive to negative at x equal to e. So we finished question 4b. Now let's take a look at 4c. 4c, find the x coordinate of the point of inflection on the graph of f of x. Find the point of inflections. So, point of inflection. That keyword tells us to use the second derivative. So we already found the first derivative, so we're going to use the first derivative to find the second derivative. So now we have f prime of x equal to 1 minus ln x over 2x squared. That's our first derivative. So we're going to use the first derivative to find the second derivative. So u equal to 1 minus ln x and v equal to 2x squared. So u prime will be 0 minus 1 over x, which is negative 1 over x. And then we got v prime equal to 4x. So the second derivative is going to be derivative of the first derivative. So we do u prime v minus u v prime over v squared. So we're going to get 1 over x times 2x squared, and then minus 4x. I'm going to put the 4x first. The reason is because this one have two terms. So 1 minus ln x, and then v squared. So 2x squared and square. Now we're going to simplify a little bit. So x and x cancel, so I got negative 2x. And then this multiply, I get negative 4x plus 4x ln x. 2 times 2 is 4, and then the exponent multiplying, it'll be 4x4. So now I get the combined line term. So I get negative 6x plus 4x ln x. And then I got the 4x4. So we got our second derivative. I'm going to swap the order of this. So I get 4x times ln x minus 6x, 4x4. The question asks you to find the point of fraction. So we're going to make f double prime of x equals 0 or undefined. So f double prime of x is undefined at x equal to 0 because 0. Now we're going to reject this for the same reason. You had the domain x greater than 0. So now I'm going to make the 4x times ln x minus 6x equals 0, the numerator equals 0. And then I can factor. They both have x in common. 4 and 6 have 2 in common, so 2x. And then you get 2 times ln x minus 3 equal to 0. So 2x equals 0, x equals 0. We're going to reject. And then you get 2 ln x minus 3 equals 0. So plus 3 both sides. So 2 ln x equal 3. ln x equal to 3 over 2. And then you do e to both sides. So the e and the ln cancel. X equal to e to the 3 over 2. So we found the critical value for the point of fraction. So now after finding the possible value for the point of fraction, so we are going to do the side chart. You always use the side chart to prove if this is going to be the point of fraction or not. If it changes sign from a positive to negative or negative positive, definitely it's a point of fraction. If it does not change the sign, it's nothing. So our second derivative is going to be this. This part always positive because the 4 is positive, actually 4 power is positive. So in here you're going to choose any number you want. Okay, so this time I'm going to use 1. Okay, before I already used e to the negative 1. So we can use 1. Okay. And then here we're going to use, let's say, e to the second power because 1.5. Okay. So now let's check it. So you get 4 times 1 times ln 1 minus 6 times 1 over positive. So now we get this, it will be 0. So 0 minus 6 over positive, you get negative. It's going to be concave down on this side. Here you get 4 times e squared times ln e squared minus 6 times the e squared over positive. Ln e cancel, you get a 2. So you get 4 times e squared times 2 minus 6 e squared. This is going to be 8. 8e squared minus 6e squared, definitely positive. So positive over positive is positive. So you get concave up on this side. So now we can make a conclusion. At x equal to e to the 3 over 2, f of x has a point of inflection because second derivative change the sign from negative to positive at x equal to e to the 3 over 2. So if you can do all this in your mind, you can directly write down the minus and positive directly without showing all this work. Some of you can calculate all this very fast. So if you are that type of person, you just write down the sign directly. They do them negative and positive directly without showing the work. So we finished question number 4.